Biodiversity. Let us have the first presentation. Yeah, here, if you want. So that you will have a picture.
I need just one. Okay, thank you very much for my opportunity. I will try to explain about the cause of biodiversity loss and how is the effect from about 5 countries. Each countries have different cause of biodiversity loss. First, I will start with Thailand. The most popular cause of biodiversity loss in Thailand is the over-exploitation of timber and agricultural extension. That condition have effect to loss of biodiversity, soil loss, and water holding capacity. And secondly is from Indonesia condition. The most popular cause of biodiversity loss in Indonesia is over-exploitation of timber, property, and also forest fire. Especially, of course, in the dry season, like now in Indonesia. The cause of loss of biodiversity and forest degradation, flood erosion, and also pollution. In Malaysia, the most popular cause is unsustainable use of natural resources, and that give effect to forest degradation and pollution. In Filipina is commercialization and burn activity, and effect to deforestation. In Myanmar, illegal cutting for fuel wood, over-exploitation of timber, and enrichment of forests cause the deforestation and forest degradation. Brunei has a specific cause because maybe Brunei has a specific condition too. The most popular cause of biodiversity loss is infrastructure development in invasive alien species, especially from acacia. Maybe this is the general of the cause of biodiversity loss. Maybe the participant from each country will give the more explain about their condition. Thank you very much. Maybe Dr. Marwan.
Some addition? No more? Okay, thank you very much. Then we go to this group. The Ecosystems Restoration team.
is power.
Friendly and fantastic lady, female. Nakita mo ba? Oh, here. So you see in our group, I am overpowered by men's power. And also by age. Anyway, so what we did in our group is kind of look at the 3 countries represented in general. So we like to present to you the general observations. So in here, what we did is to first characterize the what we call the primary causes of degradation. Then we have the different type of degradation causing biodiversity loss, and then the effects. Okay, so we have identified poverty as a primary cause of degradation. And because of that, a lot of people are over-exploiting our natural resources or our biodiversity resources, and that brings about loss of species and stand structure. Okay? We also identified acts of God. That means, we can do anything about these things. They come naturally, and these bring about natural disasters like forest fire, tsunami, and volcanic eruption. And these events bring about loss of ecosystem, maybe integrity. And then another one would be lack of knowledge on some of our implementers, and this causes introduction of invasive alien species, and in turn brings about changes in a species composition. Another primary cause would be unsustainable, or what we call inconsistent policies, which enable us to convert forest into other land uses, and hence one effect would be loss of ecosystem integrity. The other one is something like related to cultural or poverty. So shifting cultivation has been identified as one cause of biodiversity loss. And because of this shifting cultivation, of course we said that in the past, shifting cultivation has been contributing to sustainable forest management. But due to reduction in the farm size that they develop, the shortening of the fallow period, so shifting cultivation has become destructive, which brings about loss of species diversity. Thank you. If you have any question, my group will answer. Do you consider forest fire as a natural cause?
Depending on what.
Depends.
It depends.
There are natural.
They are natural, and if let's say in sandy area, some very dry area, sometimes because due to few months of drought, then the top part of the litter dry up, and if the leaf contains silicaceous compound, when there is this right amount of sunlight hit, particularly this lalang, it just burn at the same time. It just couldn't do it, just right in front of you. You must run away or you'll be caught. And you couldn't do anything because of that. And some because of people burn. Because for this in a large scale, most likely caused by the lightning also.
I may ask you elaborate on the invasive alien species. Because this term is seem like it's happened naturally in invasive alien species. Can you give me an example that invasive alien species caused by lack of knowledge of the people? What species?
I can give you 3 examples.
And what is the impact?
Yes.
It's large or not?
You see, it's to do with not proper considerations of introduced plant for one purpose, not linked to another. Years past in Malaysia, they introduced Leucinia, Leucosicola, for the animal feed. They thought by bringing in to feed animals. Yeah? It end up that it come out from the range and now colonize everywhere. When there's opening, it just colonize. Yeah? So their knowledge of understanding of biodiversity in terms of one species coming only on the perspective of they understand and they don't see it. Yeah? And then the other one that he realized, even happened in Australia. Anyone from Australia here? Your cane frogs. You see now, she can tell you that. So when they brought it in, they thought it's one thing good, but ending up it doesn't serve the purpose, and now it go everywhere. So this lack of knowledge would be actually fundamental. Basic. Who want to bring a disaster to your own home? Nobody wants. But when we thought you bring them in, we thought it would do us good. But our lack of knowledge, that's why cause all this. So R&D very important now with the Biodiversity Convention, and also what we are doing now, it helps. Before you introduce a species, we better ask others. That's what we look for. Now please contribute your thought.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go now to group 3.
We clearly have a group of overachievers. We came up with 13 causes of biodiversity loss, so I could be speaking here for a while. Get used to the sound of my voice. You'll notice that all the effects repeat because, as we know, our ecosystems are very, very highly interconnected. Everything is linked, and so are our actions. So you'll see a lot of repetition. So our first cause is mining. And take note that we've only put up the effects on the environment here. We didn't even start to consider effects on communities and human beings. So mining, you obviously have deforestation, which is obviously worse for open cut mining than it is when they're tunneling. Erosion, because again, if you're doing the deforestation, the roots aren't in place anymore to hold the soil down. We've got massive amounts of pollution. Fragmentation of the ecosystem and habitat, so this especially affects animals that travel a lot and they need to be able to connect to wide areas and find their food elsewhere from where they're living. Second cause of biodiversity loss is logging, and we specifically say this is either illegal or unsystematic logging. So we're not saying that all logging is bad, it's just logging that isn't done properly and sustainably. Again, this causes deforestation, degradation of the habitat, simplification of species, and possible extinctions. We've got more erosion, flooding. This is really, really close to home to me. 3 weeks ago in the Philippines, our capital was flooded up to people's necks. So this is a very, very big deal. And of course, sedimentation. This particularly if you're logging near bodies of water. Because of the erosion, you're getting all the bits of soil in the water, and that in turn is going to ruin your aquatic habitats. You'll have your fish and your plant life dying out. Then we've got population growth. I think everyone in Southeast Asia, other than Singapore, feels this one. It's very close to home. And population growth obviously leads to all the other different causes of biodiversity loss, the mining and logging. We have more people to support, so we need to mine and get more resources, log and build more houses. So you'll see a lot of repetition again, loss of habitat, fragmentation of habitat, loss of species, and increased pressure on resources. So we need more food, we need more shelter, we need more of everything. So our food security is also threatened here, and it's not just our food security, it's the food security of the species that we share the earth with. Can I move this from here? Yeah. Then we have land use change. Again, this is very interrelated with population growth. A lot of our land, a lot of our forests are being changed now so that we can build more houses for people, so we can grow more food, we can graze more animals, and this leads to flooding, deforestation, a lot of conflict between the local landowners, conservationists, farmers, developers, and pollution. Like the last group, we've mentioned fire, but we're discussing fire in the artificial or the anthropogenic form. So this is fire that is actually bad for nature because it was caused by us and not a part of a natural system. In Australia, for example, fire is essential to our ecosystem.